Hello everyone, this is Dr. Cui. So in this video, I would like to talk about uh, another commonly asked question: how do you handle the conflict? So some people will ask, some program director or interviewer will ask you about this. So they want to actually the reason they ask you this because they want to see how you deal with the conflict, especially during the residence training, and how do you handle under the conflict, um, com the conflict between you and your colleagues or your supervisors. How do you handle this situation? So here you need to pay attention to it. Don't say that you had a lot of conflicts before, and therefore you have a lot of experience, which is really is not a good answer, and actually it's a red flag here. Don't say that you had a lot of conflicts before. You can always say that although you don't have too much conflict, actually, although you don't have too much conflicts, but there's one time you have a conflict with someone in your team, you can just say it like that, and also focus on your resolution, and don't say too much the too much about the conflict, and just let them know the reason of the conflict and how did you solve the problem. So focus on the resolution. And the reflection here is communication is the key. So, um, so you always want to communicate with people instead of argue with people or even fight with against the people. So you need to summarize that communication is really a good way to solve this kind of problem whenever you have a conflict. So here's my answer. And okay, let's get started. Okay, Dr. Cui, can you share me? Do you have any conflict with your team before? If you have one, can you please share with me your experience? How do you handle those situation? Yeah, so actually, I would say that I normally don't have a conflict with my people, but there's one time um, when my boss wanted me to initiate a clinical trial, which I know that that clinical trial has already been um, done by a lot of researchers, and a 10 years review article even published last year. So initially, I didn't. So actually, I told my boss about that, but he actually still insist on me doing that, and I didn't argue with him, and I just downloaded all of those literature and created a PowerPoint slide, and then when my boss had time, I just presented the slides, showed him the evidence that what the people have done for this clinical trial, and also I showed him the review article, and so gradually my boss started realize that the clinical trial actually is not practical and for our study, and it's an old idea. And then we talk about some new directions to do this experiment, and finally we reached agreement to study other mechanisms um, during this clinical trial. So you see that in this experience, I tried my best to find evidence, find a better way to solve the problem, and always try my best to communicate with my boss, my supervisor, in order to get a better solution for this situation. So that's my so I would say that that's my way to solve this problem. So you can see that in my answer, I told the interviewer that I don't have too much conflicts, too many conflicts before with my colleagues. Well, that's one time. only one time I had a conflict with my boss, and I briefly told them what's the conflict. Then I spend more time on the resolution. How did I do for those situation, and how did I communicate with my boss to solve the problem? So, and then I add a reflection that always try my best to find a better way to solve the problem and always communicate with people who had a conflict with me. So that's my style to resolve this kind of a problem. So I hope it's helpful on your answer as well. So good luck.